Check, 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 check. Manifesting. Can you hear me? Then we'll give this to just change this.
Hello, hello.
Am I audible? Hello. Hello. Am I audible now? Hello. Am I audible? Yeah. Now, is it clear? Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Am I audible? Can you hear my voice? Just I can't hear my voice. Okay. I hope I'm audible to you all. Right. Uh, Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Gayatri. Um, Thank you so much for joining our session. I hope we are like kind of around 35 to 40 of us, from day one till today, till yesterday, I have attended. I hope the number continues till the last day. Um, so today's session is something that is very essential in the field of media, which is bringing the connection and relevance of industry to the lecture rooms. When I studied visual communication in my undergraduate level, the kind of technologies, the kind of um, you know aspects that we have used are kind of irrelevant today. The industry is so dynamic and it is upgrading itself very fast. We have a lot of um, new aspects, new technologies coming in. We need to be relevant um, in terms of industrial knowledge as well as theoretical knowledge, because every day there is a new theory that is coming up. Every day there is a new technology that is coming up. So how are we going to be relevant, and how are we preparing our students to be relevant for the future? It is not just today, right? So, keeping that in mind, we are, bringing this session. I'm very keen to, attend this session, and looking forward to have a lot of interaction. Thank you so much, Professor Rajeshwari, Professor Gayatri, Professor. I may have forgotten few names. Um, the usual, you know, active participants who are constantly sharing your thoughts, knowledge on the chat. It's very encouraging. It's very motivating for everyone to participate actively. Thank you so much for your inputs. I hope many more can participate today. Uh, Now I leave the session to Professor Madhanasi to introduce our chief guest.
Hello, do you hear me? Sorry. Good afternoon to everyone. Mr. Jesli Anto is an assistant professor of visual communication in Royal College, Chennai. Jesli's trained journey from Royal College towards media industry had many substations on the way. First station was All India radio station. He worked as a producer and production person. Then the second station was Res Algin Studio as a graphic artist in offset printing. The next station was the freelance role as a researcher for grey advertising. The next station was cinemas, worked as an actor and assistant director. The next station was here, a website company called smartindia.com in Trivandrum as animator. Then reached business station where he learned the art of hardcore sales and marketing. Then he also reached the main station, Raj Television Stations, as OEP head, where he produced marketing promos for all programs. He collected all the knowledge from the industry and decided to give back to the young minds in the society. So the return train journey started with a different route to the same destination from Rajgiri to Loyola College in the Visual Communication Department. Today, Jesli identifies himself as a traveler and explorer who is connected and connects new routes and pathways between industry and academics as a consultant. Learn with Jesslyn. So, Jesslyn, now is your time. Can you take the platform?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to have this opportunity to discuss an essential topic, bringing the connection and relevance of industry to the lecture rooms. I appreciate all of you for your commitment to enriching our student learning experiences. Before we dive in, let me share a little bit about where I started and where I am today. So, uh, I already there was a small introduction, so I know, I started from a college and I came back to the college. So right now I teach courses like development communication for visual communication students, and an elective on art, culture, and costume for animation students. So we are in a very dynamic world right now. So let me just give me 5 minutes. I will share the presentation. Yes, let us start with the very famous quote: "Tell me, and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me, and I learn." This was told by Benjamin Franklin. This is very true for many of us because whatever is told to us, we keep forgetting. And even things those are taught, we may forget sometimes. But those that we have been a part of, those moments in life that we lived together, we always remember. Even when we look back into our college days, we remember about the days, some moments with our friends, with our teachers, especially time during an industrial visit or a tour or during a college culturals. So these are the moments we cherish the life forever. So today, this topic goes very relevant with this idea of how to involve the industry along with the academic activities. So before this, let me ask you a small question, and even this question comes our way when we start our profession with any college. So who is our audience, or who are our students? Because when it comes to industrial visits and the connection with the networking with the industries, we need to ask this question: who is our students actually? So, are we having students who have a very good background, who's from a very influential family? Do they already come here with a big network? This is the first category of students. And the other one is the students who come for a job with a minimal background, and especially with a media industry like this. Some parents or some students don't come with a media background, but maybe they are okay with what they have, but they do want to join a new create a path in this media avenue. And the third is about students. Are we teaching students who are first generation learners, who need a lot of industrial support as well as support from the teachers? Because these students may not have any idea where to step in, whom to ask, or how to actually go about academically and also after the college days. So sometimes we do have a mix of all these students. I would ask you to, if possible, you can share in the chat box, among these three category of students, majority, what category of students you are dealing with, what kind of students you are addressing on a day-to-day basis. Can drop in the chat box at least 1, 2, or 3. So students without a background, students who has the background can be in 1, or who has a medium level background is 2, and students who are first learners can be 3. Okay. Recently, a MIT student has created a headset.
Yes, Professor Mahalakshmi, would you like to share?
So recently, there is a MIT student who have created a headset to hear from Google Answers. See, for any question that we ask through this headset, the student can listen to the answer, and he can immediately tell any answer that is any question that can Google is capable of answering. So this particular technology that was invented by a student demonstrated that memorizing skills are centralized, and anyone can have access to if we are having a good technological access, and hence memorizing is no more in demand. So what is more in demand right now is critical thinking and learning ability. uh, we do have a lot of upcoming technologies like Canva, which has replaced the Photoshop. Not replaced yet, but on its way. It's too good to avoid. We can have so much of design templates and easy to use tools. Likewise, we are getting a lot of AI tools also. So in this space, critical thinking and learning ability is something that we can still nurture and we can develop. The kind of students we deal with also decides our approach. So bringing industrial connection also, uh, you know, varies according to the expectation and situation of the students. Yes, as I could see in the message, I think it is for the mix of all three set of students, which is highly complicated. So at some point, one student will feel bored. Thank you, Bhaskar. So sometimes one person might feel bored, one person might require a lot of attention. So many of us do have this scenario with we do have three sets of students sitting in the same class, and this is a problematic scenario as well as this is a great strength. Let me give you an example. We all knew Harvard, and Harvard Business School is supposed to be a top class business school where you can have where a lot of leaders come from. So where does this name come from? Who is Harvard? In October 28, 1636. So this person was not the founder of Harvard. This name Harvard belongs to a person, John Harvard, who gave his major part of his land or estate and a library of more than 400 books to this school. So that's why his name was given for the university. So like Harvard, We teaching fraternity has donated half of our lifetime for the benefits of students. We are so engaged in academic activities, and at some point we get disconnected from the industrial practices. The moment we come out of college, we understand that the books we read were so idealistic, which can work out in an imaginary utopian world, whereas the practical world and the industry functions completely different and on a completely different path. This notifies the importance of case studies. By bringing real cases to be discussed in the classroom, we can bring in the industry into the classroom. A strong methodology for academics that is often used in Harvard Business School is a case study method. A student approximately comes over 300 cases, 300 case studies during their period of study. So in workplace, they used to train me wherever I have worked so far. They never relied on my degree paper alone. Oftentimes, many times, the media industry, they don't ask for a degree. Simply, they would look at how much we can work or how much we can contribute. And notable huge companies often invest money on training us. They give the students 3 months of on the they put them on the bench. They call it, that's how the IT industry recognizes. They put us in a way that we are not given real time work. Instead, we are given already completed works. So someone previous to us, someone should have done it, and it is over. It is given to the client, and the same requirement is given to us. We are trained for 3 or 6 months to see how diligently we can work for them, and only after feeling that we can continue, we can be responsible for the upcoming projects, then they put us into the live projects. So similarly, this again goes back to the case study method. So putting us into trouble, putting us into a problematic, giving us a problem and asking us to solve. So how can this case study method, bring in industry into the classroom? The first and foremost thing is, like you mentioned, in a classroom of 3 set of students with different backgrounds, how do we bring them together? Is to run them through a case study. So we give the students a rehearsal time where they can bond together. They can understand each other. They can fill in the plus and minuses of each one. Each one have their own strength and weaknesses. If one student is good at presentation, another student is good at doing the math with the data and facts required for the presentation, let that student, both of them, co-integrate and then come up with a presentation or project. And during a case study, the students get an opportunity to just speak out what is in their mind. So no idea is a bad idea. Anyone in the classroom and almost everyone is expected to give their thoughts on the issue. We present the classroom with a problem and then we ask for a solution. This methodology is used to prepare the leaders. So we ask the students, if you are the managing director of a particular television channel and you are facing this problem, how would you solve? Will you close the channel or will you continue? Will you face the issue? What solution do you bring in? And this is how we pose a problem to the class, and we ask the students to come up with different ideas, what they suggest. So the probability of answering or the ideas putting into this classroom comes 80% from the student and 20% from the teacher. And once this entire session is over, we also ask an industry expert who have been through such situations to sit there with us and then look at what all the students share and then come and tell what solution actually the channel has made in such a difficult situation. Today, we have a huge manpower ready to work as employees, and we have very little leaders, and we cannot shy away from our problems. Someone who seek new problems and solve them become a great leader. And the process is so addictive because it brings the best in us. Industry people often run after the problems. Bigger the problems means bigger the opportunity. Solving bigger problems of people is big business. It brings in a lot of profits. So intelligent ones understand addressing the problem is a skill. And in academics, sometimes we are so particular about do not make a mistake. In industry, we realize the truth mistakes are inevitable. In the face of advancements, in the face of progress, definitely mistakes would happen. If there are no mistakes, there is no progress. So, allowing students to do mistakes while working on a challenging task is okay. See, industry people, the benchmark is usually very high. And it is not because of some superpower, but because of facing client requirements on a day-to-day basis. Facing a client is the biggest challenge anyone can face in a career, because a client would ask for unexpected things. The mindset of an entrepreneur or a mindset of a leader has to be transferred to the students when we provide the presence of industry persons. The place in our head between the temples determine the growth of students. For teachers, the workshop is the student's head, because a change in mind changes the habits, and changes in habit affects one's destiny. Industry collaboration has a significant role in students visualizing the future. In our session today, we will explore how we can effectively integrate industry relevance into our curricula, enhancing both students' engagement and employability. Over the next few minutes, we will break down our discussion into two main segments. First, we will examine the case study method, and then we will dwell into practical strategies for fostering industry connections. So here are some interesting stories that highlight successful collaborations between academia and the media industry. The New York Times have partnered with Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism to create a unique program that allows students to work directly with Times editors. So students contribute to the newspaper's coverage, particularly in areas like politics and technology. The collaboration not only provides students with real-world experience, but also allows the Times to tap into fresh perspectives and innovative ideas. So this methodology helps the Columbia University graduates to become emerging journalists. Likewise, BBC has a long-standing partnership with the University of Salford. So they focus on media production and broadcast journalism. The university's Media City UK facility serves as a hub where students can collaborate with BBC professionals on live projects. So the valuable skills while contributing for BBC program uh, connects both academia and provides a real content for media companies. So students also can work on real-time projects. The companies also can train the next generation of media professionals according to the industry standards. So today, this is the problem we face. College uh, project is okay for the college, and we give marks, we correct and do all those things. And somehow there is a deadline, so at some point the mark has to be entered. We go on. But with the industry, quality is uncompromisable. We cannot go with understanded work. We cannot even claim it to be a work in the first place. So we know what the company standard is, and it is determined by the client's or the audience expectation. Stanford University again collaborates with Journalism AI, a project aimed at helping newsrooms to understand and integrate the AI technologies. Researchers and students work with media organizations. So here again, the artificial intelligence technology has been incorporated into the industry. Through the industry, it's again incorporated or it integrates with the academia, with the media companies, so we can connect and get to know how the new technologies also can be useful. Tata Institute of Social Science also have partnered with various media organizations to create research-based journalism initiatives. For instance, these students often collaborate with media outlets on an investigative projects, which is focusing more on social issues such as health, education. This have led to impactful stories that highlight critical social challenges in India. Students gain practical experience while contributing to meaningful journalism. So this is a space where real-time field visits are happening, as well as the tech companies, as well as the collaborative companies give the funds. So anything is easily possible. Not from the college side, but from the industry, we do get financial support and all the technical support. So these are some of the existing examples where the industry have successfully collaborated with the colleges and universities. So uh, the Media Foundation also in India collaborates with the University of Delhi. Likewise, the Indian School of Business have partnered with digital media companies to explore data analytics in media. And this is only possible for a school or college university to bring insights from the industry uh, only when there is a successful correlation between both the organizations, because today lots of MOUs will be signed, but later on the collaboration or the deliverables what each other exchange sometimes is a big question. The MOU signing becomes more of a ceremony, but it's a year process. So what both the sides contribute each other, uh, the practical way is more uh, which determines the impact. So what differences do so what differences do I see in college and the workplace? College gave confidence about the industry, and it it taught us something, but later on the industry taught us something completely different. The industry often asked for updation. What is the recent uh, way of working? The college assignments give uh, often whatever give we give, the assignments are okay, but in the industry it would be the final day in the office. College nurtures friendship and bunking hours. Sometimes we do have 70% is okay, but of attendance. But in an industry, 12 days of casual leave is there. That too, a professional approach is required to take the leave. Oftentimes, people don't even go for it. And colleges have planned for us as students. For students, colleges have different plans for the semester. The academic calendar and the entire mm, lesson plan goes like this, but for the students it becomes more of a spoon feeding session. But in the industry, the next day when they step into the company, as a leader, especially if the student want to be a leader, if they want to start their own business, the student must have a clear plan for the future, or they become easily the student can become a slave for a good planned leader. So the culture of planning for oneself is something that we learn from the industry. Students often have all their assignments for the last minute, but in the industry we cannot work like that. A program has to go 6, it has to be at 6 p.m. the evening. It has to be at 6 p.m. Even if it is a second, if it is delayed, we would we would lose lakhs of money, because time is what we sell in a channel. And so in the college, often students pay, and often this makes them think sometimes they act like a boss, but the industry pays us. So while we are in the industry, a student learns to be a good loyal servant for the organization or institute they work. If the best practices happen in colleges, um, if all these best practices what we a package of best practices, like coming to the class on time. A classroom is a mock session actually for the industry. Uh, Being on time, here the professor might ask a question and allow the student after 5 minutes. But in the industry, we have uh, no choice of having a compromise like that. Uh, Both timing is crucial, especially in media industry. Timing is too crucial. Time and space is what we sell, but in a mainstream media like television or newspaper, so we cannot waste a single space, we cannot waste a single second in a television. A single second of black frame in a television means a lot. If a black frame comes on television, the person might lose his job the next day, because we cannot afford to make such a mistake. Even in editing, we cannot allow a black frame. Professionals easily find it out over video. If we are watching a videos, a seasoned uh, television journalist or a television producer would easily notice a blank frame. So industry pays us to for the efficient work we do. College is also the same exact discipline and responsibility. If if it is implemented, that's because of the tight collaboration between the industry and the colleges. If when this happens, there's no difference between the industry and the classroom. So the case studies actually helps a lot, bringing in the exact person who have dealt with certain issues in the media channels or in the media houses. When they come and they will discuss how they dealt with the similar problem, again, it becomes very helpful for the students. So I always ask, in our context, do we allow students to talk their minds, what they feel? And still, if boys and girls are going to sit in separate classes, sides of the classroom, because this doesn't correlate with what the practices we have in the companies or workplace we go. Because for 3 years, or from basically from the school days until the college is over, if the boys and girls couldn't speak what they think in their mind, if they are very reserved, and that's all, because we always say keep quiet. And then also there are no chance of sitting collaboratively. Boys go to one side, girls. And just a small example, and all of a sudden one day when they are out in the industry, we ask them to become great negotiators in the market and sell in business and work along with the opposite gender with ease in the workspace. Then how do we expect this to happen? That's one big question. Understanding. So this is these are some of the areas where we see quite difference in both the practices, in academic practices and industrial practices. And so yes, for the understanding the case method, let's start with a small real world scenario. So that puts us together, that gives us an understanding of how we can take a complex issue and then engage in constructive dialogue. So let me give you a small example how I do it for my development communication course. I take students on a field visit to rural areas, and we stay with the villages with very limited resources for a day or two. So these visits allow them to interact with the community members and address real challenges. For instance, students recently worked on a project to design solutions for a village facing issues related to education. So they observed the first hand, the first place they observed the complexities of community dynamics and learned to apply their classroom knowledge in practical settings. So this happens because we have relocated the students from the classroom benches to a different place where there are snakes, where there are extreme climate, extreme, we don't get a very tasty food, no nice place to shelter. We go and live in a place where there is complete chaos and difficulty. So 2 days of exposure to a very difficult situation like this puts us into a pressure thinking pattern to think differently, to look at something from another person's point of view. So this not only enhances their critical thinking, but also teaches the students to communicate effectively. They learn to agree and to disagree respectfully. Definitely, there will be a lot of disagreements, but how to bring it up. So that becomes a vital skill in both academic and the professional environments. So, and bringing industry professionals into the classroom can further enrich this process. Either we bring industry people into the classroom, or we take our students outside into the uh, you know into a space where they can get exposed, immersed, and then enrich themselves with knowledge. So after students analyze a case, uh, we invite the protagonist or expert to share their insights to provide a valuable context. In this case, when we went to the village, so we definitely faced a lot of challenges. Students were split into 5 groups in 5 different villages. They interact with the people. They get to know a lot of their complaints, problems, lives, their happiness, sadness, everything. And they come in with a lot of suggestions. They say, "Sir, this we can implement these things. We can help them to get some government schemes. We can ask these people. We can write a letter to the collector. We can teach ask them to do it." And they come up with so many ideas, but then we meet another person who is an expert in such things, someone who is a social worker who is working with the people there. So he or she comes and shares their idea. So then we had a retired headmaster who is a social worker for after his retirement. So he came and addressed similar problems, how he faced, how they support the community they're living there, how they face and how they give them support, and what are still there are the problems that still we are not able to address. All those things, what is the real challenge they face? So there's a difference of opinion, difference of uh, different perspective bonds of out of these conflicting arguments and dialogues. So during the visit, we live with people and read human library. So we get to learn from the people we meet. Wisdom is so abundant in rural mass. So contrary to a belief, our minds evolve into something else. After we visit the classroom, after these practices, once we come back to the classroom, it becomes an intellectual ground for arguments and sharing of opinions and ideas. Like Paulo Freire said in his book, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. So in Pedagogy of the Oppressed, the Paulo Freire says about the students' involvement in a class. It's not a banking system where the teacher keeps on talking, sharing knowledge, but the students do have knowledge, and everyone on earth has knowledge. It is sharing that that creates an idea. Bringing together 50 ideas makes a great idea, a big idea. So this is an idea from which we function. In the case study method, we have an advantage of having a real scenario. Intellectually, it's stimulating, and we do have an interactive engagement. And so once we come back from such an exposure from village, we can use the same content we shot there to edit a documentary. We do a baseline research data, which where we collect data for further learning, and these are some of the outcomes after we go and expose ourselves in an outside scenario. One of the case studies, one is about a woman we met named Chellama, who's looked up by all other women for her singing and dancing. She has a great skill in the open field where we met. They are 100 days scheme workers who belong to the MGN Rega government scheme. We just went and spoke, sat with them, and she, like in the poem Solitary Reaper, her music has a story. So someone can make a documentary, research can be done, or she didn't receive any widow pension or old age pension because her son once raised voice against a powerful man in the village. So the if she has a huge story, so it can be made into film also. So getting away from benches and sitting on the floor with these 100 days wages MG Rega workers, it's a real makes it's what makes a real media person. Where there are voiceless people and people that are where there are people without voice, that is where we require media people to voice out for them. And a media person can only be a barking dog at injustice and can never be a lap dog So being in an AC environment or in classroom or in the lab for most of the time can often desensitize over a long run. So field and industry often functions under hot sun and extreme climates, which allow one to empathize with the ordinary people. Any journalist is not going to sit in the newsroom. Any filmmaker is not going to sit within four walls, except for the editing and post production processes. You're often expected to be out there with the people, with the problems, with the society. This is how media people function. So for the students, it becomes a great necessity when compared with the entire academics. With other subjects, media subjects definitely require a lot of on-ground practices. In another visit to a television channel where they used to call us for audience, um, many times we may have come across this situation. From some TV channel, they would ask, we need 10 or 15 students to sit in the audience. It might look insane just to go there and sit. We are also becoming like they are becoming a victim for their they need using us like that. But for the first time, when students go and sit there, they feel so excited looking at the multi-camera setup with all the lightings and crew members to understand. And what we see in reality shows, something students first understand is reality shows are not real. It is completely orchestrated. It itself is a great experience. Media literacy is achieved in a day, which cannot be taught in the classroom for 10 or 15 days. At one day, students get to know that the entire industry dwells on fake incidents. It's all created, it's scripted. Nothing is for real, nothing is a reality show as such. So to understand to understand how media message is constructed, someone must visit a media construction site like a television studio or a newsroom. So we look at problems and we look at how they are solved. The same can be stimulated in the classrooms too. So after going for a television studio, after coming to the class, we can ask the students, see, there was a situation like this. There was a complete failure. Someone missed their dialogue. Some mic is not functioning. There was a problem with the set. Some of the lights went off. And so there was a small fire. How did they tackle? How did they there was a late the celebrity who was supposed to come on time ended up so late, so the shooting got delayed. How did they extend their shooting? If it did it go for a double beta setup, or how did they manage the finance, how it went out? So this way students get a courage to handle media. Anytime there is a problem, how we can bring up with solutions. That comes up with case study method. That's becoming an amazing method. Let me share you one example that happened in television. um, you know so one day, the serial that has to be aired at 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening, we didn't receive the tape until the last moment due to a problem with between the production company and the channel. Uh, the production company refused to give the last minute. The tape was not given. So what would be a broadcast for the day? The episode has not yet arrived. So finally, somehow there was a negotiation, and at the last minute, they accepted. But now the tape has to come from the hard disk has to come from the production house, and with the traffic and all that, it came. Uh, just before like 20 minutes the episode reached the channel. And then it is usually the method is, we after getting the episode in hard disk, we have to copy it in a tape. Then it goes to the MCR master control room. There they copy it again, check for audio and video glitches. So quality check is done, then it goes it is uplinked for the satellite. But then this is a scenario, this is a case study situation for a classroom. What will you do if you are in such a situation? You are the producer, you have to decide whether to stop the serial today. Not possible. We have already got the sponsors, we have got the advertisements, we have promised them to air it today. We cannot do that, and it would lead to a lot of loss. So what else is the possibility? Yesterday's episode, can we re-telecast it again, or cut something, put something like flashbacks? What can we do in the last moment? So finally, what we decided at the moment is, is something like Uh, we had a long wire connected it directly from the CPU to the MCR. On the way, we had to make 2 or 3 people stand, because if someone without unknowingly, if they step on the wire, the broadcast would be stopped. So now it's going from Final Cut Pro directly to the satellite. So for half an hour, there so many people ran. They were working to ensure that there's a smooth running of this particular serial. No one would have watching the serial would have guessed so much of hard work is going behind on for this particular screening. So this is how a case study can put us in challenging situations to think for alternative ideas, what we can do. So I would just can see this. I can ask you. May I ask you? Can you share some experiences you felt, uh, some kind of case study that you told to your students, or you exposed them to, had so much of impact? Converting the industry experiences into classroom case study sounds good. Thanks for sharing. What are the other ways we can incorporate our industry experience? Yes, thank you. So other ways. Uh, so the first way of incorporating the academic sector, the most powerful weapon we have is the syllabus design. So here we can have a lot of brainstorming session before designing a syllabus. So how do we actually bring in the industry into syllabus design? Is to choose right people to have an interactive approach, uh, and have a collaborative learning environment before designing a syllabus. So how whom do we actually invite for this? Either they can be industry leaders, or they can be our own past alumni. So anyone who is good at good in the industry, who can come and see what is happening in academia, and where are the gaps, where do we lack, and this this gives us a precise understanding, or so by this we can bridge the gap between our own uh, academic syllabus and the industrial practices. And if you ask me, if will this change? Yes, it will change very often, and the syllabus has to be redesigned again and again. Restructured syllabus needs to get into our pipeline very soon, because and the teachers need to keep updating this becomes a dynamic process then. But actually, like it's like transformation from Photoshop to Canva. It's not going to completely eradicate what has been existing before, but it takes certain basics from the previous knowledge, and then we have to move towards the new upcoming technologies, upcoming platforms, upcoming expectations of the industry. So that's a great concern for creating leaders in the industry. First of all, we do have a lot of laborers, and Viscom has visual communication, or media studies, mass media and communication. Today's we have a lot of colleges and universities providing this, and so many students are coming out of such streams, and they do have a certain level of knowledge, skilled labor kind of knowledge. Very few leaders emerge out of such courses, and the leaders are expected to have a little more of problem solving skills and responsible discipline, certain things that add on to what basic skills they have. So the streaming platforms, social media, podcast, these are the new uh, upcoming technologies which have been already taken the industry. And we do have a digital literacy. We need to adapt to new storytelling types, and data analysis has become taken over. We can report with a lot of factual informations. So one of the first step to uh, enhance the industry relevance is to involve industry professionals in our syllabus design. Okay, because after, for instance, integrating topics on such things like data analysis or audience engagement, digital storytelling, we need sound knowledge from the industry, because these are new emerging technologies and new platforms. The even the old practitioners cannot give or fill this gap. So during our curriculum design, um, most of the times we need a lot of meetings with the industry experts, and not every student is a philosopher or someone who is going to become a teacher, or if not every student is going to pass the net examination. Many students go into the field who require basic skill sets for employment also. Some of them become leaders. So we identify such programs for students, not about completely knowledge based curriculum, but also based on uh, skill sets which gives a student a lot of confidence. And when they get for when the times come for internships, the students have to feel so confident about their job and internship. So industry people often mock the students. This happens very often. Uh, once we see the students after an internship, we can see them so humbled, so quiet, because they get to know the reality outside. So people are laughing at them. So people often ask like this, why? What did you learn for 3 years? Industry people are quite good at that, because they feel like initially they respect a lot when they see students from university or a college, and then when they look at these people sitting with a mobile phone and not much interested, when they also see they lack a lot of knowledge about the existing industrial practices, then they become a person of they become a joke. So it takes a lot of time to regain their lost respect. So if the academy and both the industry can work together, then this thing can be bridged, I think. So oftentimes we faculty also can go for an internship. This is a small tip. If possible, during summer holidays, to update our empty or just have to empty ourselves and then fill again with existing knowledge. So if that isn't possible solution, then we definitely have to bring in valuable people from the industry, either through books or through online meetings, or it's like variety is more important today. We do have require different variety of food every day. So likewise, variety and entertainment keeps us alive. Students also cannot see the same faces every day, but they will not forget us. They respect us more for bringing in more context inside. When students do see the professor is associated with powerful leaders in the industry and celebrities, they tend to respect the professor a lot, because they get to know that the professor only can help them during internship or during for a job. It's not a 3 year process, even for a lifetime process. And one more thing I would like to uh, point out is these are two criterias in the NAC. So when we design a program for employability, we do get marks for NAC, and curricular enhancement through industry collaboration, we do have marks for NAC. So whenever we we are also working towards the benefit of the students, also at the same time, the value for the marks that we gain in the MAC, even NAC, even if we are accredited, if the upcoming binary system, if we want to become a college of national excellence, or in college of global excellence, university with global excellence, then this industry collaboration into your curriculum syllabus also brings certain value to it. And the next method is bringing in a lot of mentorship programs. So students and it would be nice if when we can prepare the professionals before they share experiences with students, because there are a lot of students or alumni or guests who come and say for the first time that as a student we were backbenchers, we didn't study, we used to play, we used to enjoy, we cut classes. These are not they are not creating a good benchmark for the upcoming students, because clearing an arrear is not an easy process. It's a painful process. But since it is glorified by the celebrities or powerful industry experts, then students might misunderstand. So certain do's and don'ts needs to be followed by uh, you know uh, such the guest we bring in are someone who can glorify the discipline, who can glorify the art of people's skills, how to network and how to work in the industry with peace. And at times, guest speakers from industry, uh, they have to be positive influences for the students. So one shall go through the content. This can be a method followed by professors, a slight go through of what would be spoken the next day to ensure that any such influences, it has to be always the positive way. So establishing mentorship programs like this, bringing in industrial people, can facilitate internships, and it can pave the way for job placements also. We would often see after a session, the students would run to the speaker. They would ask some questions, then they will ask for the phone numbers, and this is how sometimes people get connected with in the camp within the campus. The industry connections happen, and people would uh, if the same person has to be seen in his or her office, it would take months or years. Especially it's true with celebrities. So campus always is so friendly for, or it bridges the gaps between such big shots as well as the students. Then most important thing is alumni engagement. So if the college has a a strong network of alumni, they can hit the current students and they can immediately bridge the gap between the past syllabuses, past practices of the college, past internship opportunities they had, and what has changed today, what the student can expect from the industry, and seniors can pull juniors into the industry. It's a very nourishing method of generally. So it is a if the college also can honor the passed out students, so that the juniors would get their context internship jobs very often. This might happen. And the third one is collaborative projects, where you can sign MOUs. We can sign MOUs with the consulting to work in the industry. And see, before March, many government organizations, they want to dispose of the funding they have, and sometimes media campaigns would be required. So writing a proposal and tapping projects can be done by the faculty. So students can work towards the project, and this again has points in the neck. So these two criterias, like revenue generated from consultancy and corporate training revenue, this can be tapped by the college or university. And finally, this already we have discussed about field trips and site visits, which is a great enlightening process. It's an experience for students. The more we go outside, the more interesting it becomes. So I come to the end of the session. Um, so faculty can be so proactive in seeking out partnership and opportunities for the students. Three things can happen for students. First year, a student can be mapped for their skill sets. Second year, they can be uh, like thrown a lot of opportunities which they choose or they not like or they do not like. We can just keep tracking, and then later on we can personally take them to organization, personally recommend to people, so that they do get a bright future. They do get to the industry and come back to our same college or university as chief guests. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. There are some wonderful uh, ideas that we got. So I think we also got some good responses from the attendees. Um, for example, the internship for faculty members. I think something that we all can think seriously, uh, especially like after teaching for so many years, uh, have kind of like enjoying that certain kind of like power that we have in the classroom, to go back and be an intern. uh, Maybe that itself will break the hierarchy in the classroom, I think. That's a wonderful idea. And I think we have a question along with that. So, how can we, how it is possible in reality with the kind of workload that we have? So, is there anything that you would like to share?
Yes, that's a great question. We do have a lot of works along with academic teaching right now, and maybe we may not be in a position to regularly work on a regular timing, say like morning 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock, or we definitely cannot do that. Since we have meetings and other things which comes in between, but we do can allocate certain uh, time, or we can work on a basis which doesn't require so regular works. Say some certain organizations do have a flexible method of working. Uh, like when there's a possibility, it's kind of project based. So you can give one project, it can be done in like 10 days. So then you can work on another project. So in that way, a freelance work, or but somehow being connected with the industry gives us a lot of strength to actually bring the when we are connected, definitely our students are connected through us. They would ask a lot of students, they would ask for internship, they would ask us to recommend for good students for their works, and we do build a team, and we can also lead, we can grow along with it.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Are there any questions? You can unmute and share. We can see that someone from our participants group raised the virtual hand. So if you want to unmute now and uh, share any thoughts, anything else like you would like to share. So, Professor Jessley has mentioned about bringing the industry experts to the class, having a tie-up with them, and you spoke about the, you know, converting the industry experience into syllabus or into case studies. Similarly, if you have any ideas in the past, you may have incorporated a few things. It will be really useful for all of us uh, if you share. Feel free to uh, unmute or type your thoughts. So if there are no other questions or things to discuss, we'll move on to our vote of thanks. Over to Professor Prakash. Yes.
On behalf of all participants, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Jesle Andosa for sharing your invaluable insights on bringing the connection and relevance of industries to the lecture rooms during Today Faculty Development Program. Your expertise has inspired us to enhance our teaching practices, and we also appreciate the technical team, Mr. Haris, Bhaskar, and Mr. Abhishek, and all the department staff for ensuring the event ran smoothly, as well as all